Hi there, and welcome to the first video of our new format. Dylan will be taking a look at the bot mode, and I'll be taking a look at the alt mode. If you wouldn't mind letting us know what you think of our video, and take a look at the description below for a link to our gaming channel.
This is a real treat for me personally. The Transformers film franchise is what got me into collecting in the first place. If it wasn't for Dark of the Moon, I likely wouldn't be here telling you guys about this figure. That's a story for another day, however. Today we're here to talk about the first Transformers 4 figure to become available for purchase, First Edition Age of Extinction, Optimus Prime. First things first, this figure is not remotely in the same league as Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Prime, so if you're expecting something along the same lines, you're not going to get it. This is a far less complex toy than ROTF Prime, and in some ways that's not necessarily a bad thing. The transformation has only 15 steps and takes mere minutes to complete. Likely a blessing for befuddled parents whom constantly have to help their children transform their Transformers. For passionate collectors, however, the simplicity of First Edition Prime is likely to be a turnoff. It's not helped that this figure has some of the worst back kibble I have ever seen. Literally, Prime's entire truck mode is awkwardly slung across his back, and stretches about an inch past his head and down to his knees, making the act of bending said knees nearly impossible except at an angle that doesn't slam into the back kibble. For me personally, this doesn't bother me as much as it probably should. I'm the proud owner of a deluxe Revenge of the Fallen sideswipe. I've seen some bad back kibble in my time. And though First Edition Prime's backpack doesn't have the fun functionality of sideswipes, I'm used to seeing this sort of thing from the movie figures. Let's talk about what First Edition Prime does right. First Edition Prime is a far better painted figure than his ROTF counterpart in nearly every way. The sleek reds and blues are easier on the eyes this time around, and some nice silver paint on the face and legs helps the figure pop. What really steals the show, however, is the chrome adorning Prime's chest, shoulders, and thighs. I've heard some fans complain that the chrome clashes with the gray plastic. This isn't much of an issue with me, as my eyes are immediately drawn to the beautiful silver, red, and blue chrome that I barely even notice the gray plastic. First Edition Prime is oddly striking displayed on a shelf, and I think his solid paint job has a lot to do with that. Optimus has pretty standard articulation for a figure his size. The head can fully rotate, but that's about it. Double-jointed elbows is always a treat, and some nice clickety-ratchet joints on Prime's limbs make posing him fairly satisfying, even if the back kibble can hamper the experience. There is some light piping, but you probably won't notice it. His back kibble prevents most light sources from reaching the back of his head, meaning Prime's eyes will almost never glow unless you shine something directly on it. Optimus comes packaged with two weapons, a massive sword and shield. Both are very well painted and sculpted, and I highly recommend posing Optimus with these weapons, as they make him stand out more than he would otherwise. Despite my praise for it, you really shouldn't buy this figure at full price unless you are a serious movie figure collector like myself. Though I tend to ignore it as best as I can, the backpack is a serious aesthetic issue. It's ugly, cumbersome, and gets in the way of articulation. Optimus's robot mode only works as well as it does because of the incredibly simple transformation. And if you can't get past the simplicity in the kibble, I guarantee you will not like this figure.
Unpack your back kibble and roll out. Our first Age of Extinction alt mode is here. He's big, he's bad, and also confusing. Optimus Prime is, well, big. It's the first thing you notice. It puts a grin on your face, and you just can't help but pick him up, start rolling him around, and making vroom vroom noises. He reminds me of a Tonka truck. I just want to take him outside and roll him down the sidewalk. Oh, and rolling he does well, thanks to some nice gray rims wrapped in rubber wheels. I know, right? There are quite a few details like the wheels that have me really surprised. He has a nice chrome grille, a trailer hitch in the back to store his shield if you feel so inclined, and even secret sword storage underneath. All the details you would want in this alt mold are molded in. Steps, door handles, emblems, smokestacks, visors, lights, it's all there. But just because those details are molded in doesn't mean the paint does them any justice. Optimus Prime is a great shade of blue, and the painted red flames on his sides are simply some of the best paintwork I've seen in a while. But I ask you why? Why, then, is the silver paint look like as if I applied it? Let's start with the smokestacks, or at least a part of them that is painted. There's clear gaps on the back like they were held at those points while someone painted around them. The gas tanks and steps also look like the bare minimum of effort was put into paint application. Speaking of paint, let me address the elephant in the room. Why aren't his smokestacks chrome? Why isn't the whole front bumper chrome? Did they waste all they had on this stupid chest application? I would have rather had the chrome on the alt mode parts where it would make sense. Getting past the paint and back to the mold, Optimus feels heavy enough, not as hollow as I thought he would feel, with the clear gaps caused by his transformation. He has no rear window, and instead you are treated to the robot hiding within. You can also see through the bottom of the cab, but it isn't as much of an issue. Age of Extinction Optimus Prime presents me with a conundrum. He's so big and fun to play with that the inner child can't help but smile. However, this is the issue, isn't it? First Edition Prime isn't a toy for kids. At $60, he's a toy for collectors. I came into this review with a truly negative attitude, I'll admit that to you. The pictures of Prime made me angry. In hand, though, he made me smile, and after some time with him, I'm left confused. If I had picked him up at a department store for half the price, I may have been able to recommend him to more people. Now I want to say no, don't waste your money. I hope our look into Prime will help you make a decision if he's right for you. But for now, I must leave you, for I have $60 to roll around my garage.